My wife and I have been married for over 30 years, but we started from scratch. People think she married me for money, but that's not true. At the time, I was between businesses and lost my second venture. Not only did we have no money, but we were also deep in debt. We had $800,000 in bad debts. It was a great learning experience, and in the end, we managed to pay everything off quickly. Many people say to cut up credit cards, but I find that ridiculous because the problem isn't the credit card. In fact, I love credit cards. Watch until the end. It's truly rich content. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Let's start with the steps to get out of debt. The first step is to be honest with yourself. I think this is one of the hardest things I had to do because Kim never knew about the financial disaster like I did. She couldn't believe that someone could drive a Mercedes and be completely ruined, pretending to be rich until I made it. I was praying to God, Jesus, and Buddha, hoping for money to come, acting as if I had no debts. It looked great, dining in the best restaurants, but I was ruined. You can lie to your girlfriends, but you can't lie to your wife. So the first thing I had to do with Kim was finally tell the truth that I wasn't as rich as it seemed. But it's true. You have to tell yourself the truth. Because if you have a goal of where you want to go, you won't get there if you don't know where you are. The second step is to stop accumulating debts immediately. Sometimes this means making a small sacrifice. When we moved from Hawaii to California, we were without a home and lived in the basement of an apartment. Sometimes we had to sneak out because we had no money. Who had $2 to get through the weekend until I got home on Sunday night? The third step is to make a list of all your debts. The key word is all. I avoided paying bills, but finally, she asked me why I didn't want to tell her how bad the situation was. I called my last business, and we finally had to sit down and write to all the investors we owed money to, as well as all the family and friends we owed money. I felt bad for not paying them earlier, so she made me sit down and write everything. Moreover, a credit card company can get really nasty when you don't pay, so I had to show the envelopes I was receiving and basically tell the truth and face it. The fourth step is very important, and if you are deeply in debt, it's probably one of the most important steps you must take and commit to. Hire an accountant. There were times when I tried to do my own accounts, but when I was stressed, ashamed, and upset about owing so much money, I wouldn't confront the truth. Also, I felt like a mess and wasn't very detail-oriented. So Kim and I finally went to talk to my rich dad, and he recommended hiring an accountant. At first, I thought it was too expensive, but my rich dad told me that rich people have accountants, while poor people don't keep accurate records. This is the fifth step, and once you have a list of all your debts, you will create a visual picture of them. Just write the creditor's name in the upper left corner of the quadrant. For example, my Visa card. In the upper right corner, write the total amount owed. In the lower left corner, write the minimum monthly amount you must pay. In the lower right corner, divide the total amount owed into monthly payments. This means it will take 20 months to eliminate this debt, as the total amount owed divided by the minimum monthly payment equals 20. For each debt you have, you will create this visual image and review it daily to know how many months it will take to pay off each debt. It's important to check your workbook to ensure everything is clear. When Kim and I met, we had nothing. It took 10 years for us to go from nothing to financial freedom. She was 37 and I was 47. That's the power of focusing on assets instead of liabilities. Most people are so busy working for money, trying to pay their bills and buying liabilities they think are assets. The first gift I gave to Kim was teaching her this, and today we are financially free. Anyone can do this. It's a matter of putting your head in the right column. We met in 1973, and I took my first real estate investment course. I lost money and recovered, but I never let go of assets. Many people can't earn $1,000, and the reason is that mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, they are not prepared to earn that amount. So my wife and I are earning several $1,000,000, but we wouldn't have gotten there if we hadn't had problems getting to $1,000. So every time we had a problem, we had to be bigger than the problem. Many people with $1,000 problems won't solve the problem until they develop personally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually and physically to be bigger than the $1,000. The sixth step is to determine the order in which you will pay off each debt, and this is where the small circular number comes in. You start with the smallest circle number you have. People often say, "Shouldn't I pay off the debt with the highest interest rate first?" I don't want to keep those with higher interest rates. But you don't necessarily have to do that. In this formula, what you want is to see a result quickly that indicates this formula works. So, you start with the shortest debt you have, the one you can pay off the fastest. When you see this result and verify that the formula is working, it will encourage you to continue. So we start with the smallest number, as if to say it's not about paying interest, but about paying off as quickly as possible. When we look at the average person, they have a job, get money, pay for the house, and the money goes to a bank through a mortgage. That's not an asset because the money is flowing out, so it's a liability. The definition of a liability is that it takes money out of your pocket, while an asset puts money in your pocket. So if I have a property to rent, that puts money in my pocket. If I live in the house, it's a liability because even if I have no debts, I still have taxes, depreciation, repairs, maintenance, insurance, and everything else. But if I rent a property and structure it well, every month it will send me money. I started with this at 25. I had a small condo property and put $25 in my pocket. It was a start and a good debt. The debt was canceled and paid off, and at the same time, it put $25 in my pocket. So I was making money with my little house every month. Today, my wife and I have 6,500 houses that put money in our pockets every month. People living in these houses are happy because they have a place to live. But all this comes from debt. We have 100% financing. Everything is debt. So this is good debt, and what makes debt good are three very important words: cash flow. We become financially free instead of going back into debt or just spending the debt money on whatever. But, like rich dad, poor dad, we play the cash flow game. What we do is invest that money. In this case, instead of spending it, we keep buying more real estate and bonds. Essentially, we use debt to generate income and pay our debts. Today, Kim and I have 7 cars, many houses, and travel on a private jet, but we do all this with the cash flow from our investments, not with our credit cards. We have no debts, only constant income from our investments. Therefore, our assets are more than our liabilities. The reason many people get into trouble is that they buy liabilities first and then try to buy assets. That never works, and they keep buying more things and getting into bad debts. Instead, I buy my liabilities with my assets so I can have a great lifestyle. The best part is that we don't have to worry about money or anything because we simply have more and more money coming in constantly. This process requires discipline and dedication. Remember that it's a process of going from where you are to where you want to go. If you don't have dedication and discipline, the process collapses. Thank you very much for watching this video to the end. Don't forget to subscribe, leave your like, and leave your comment below. Thank you, and until the next video.